Hi everyone. This is the final vlog for my lesson plan review. In my lesson plan, the goal of the lesson was for students to be able to create a persuasive message and a poster for a cause that they support. They had just finished reading the book One Crazy Summer by Rita Williams Garcia, and that was a book that about three girls who traveled to California in 1968 to visit their estranged mother. And while they're there, they start to get involved with the Black Panther movement. So, what I wanted students to do was take what they've learned from One Crazy Summer about a cause that these girls supported and have them apply this to a cause that they care about. So, what students were doing was they were working in groups, small groups, with some of their classmates. And as a class, we brainstormed some ideas about causes that they might believe or support. Maybe it was for, ending animal abuse or, you know, protecting the environment by, picking up trash or recycling. It could be global, a very large cause, or it could be a much more local cause. And they didn't have to choose a cause that we brainstormed on the board. But anyway, so after students brainstormed ideas, what they were going to do is they're going to work together to create a message, a persuasive message that will support their cause. And the way that technology comes into my lesson is that students, brainstorm ideas together, they write up a message, and they could go home and edit it if they want to. It doesn't have to be the same, but it's a start. And over like about a week period, they have to individually call in a flog message and create a phone cast reciting their persuasive message. And then also, students will, you know, throughout the week, they'll also create a poster to support their cause. So the flog was the way that technology was used. For future lessons, what I wanted to do is after the vlogs were created, I wanted to be able to play these vlogs. I wanted to be able to link them to their Vlogster accounts, which is a web blog account, but there's an educational setting, so it's much more private and educational because they're not outsourcing to other different blogs and everything. But I wanted to be able to link their phone casts to their individual web blogs, and then do some. In the future, I wanted students to be able to do some blogging about their causes. I haven't necessarily thought too much about this yet, but I think there could be some great discussions about their causes on their Blogsters, especially with the phone casts there for students to listen to. Also, I had a thought in my head, but I just lost it. I talked about. Oh, so students will be graded individually on this. However, one of the things that may become an obstacle is that they're using the internet and they're also using a cell phone. I'm not teaching right now, but in my ideal classroom, I would have internet forms on file, because, internet is something that students use constantly for research, for, blogging, for getting pictures, etc. But they wouldn't necessarily have a phone cast, a flog permission form. So this could be more of a problem because parents may not be comfortable with students using their email account because they won't have a school email, so it'd have to be a personal email account, and using a cell phone and having this all posted on the internet. So I gave my parents 3 options. I was going to send home this permission form before I even introduced this to the students. So I would send this form home on a Friday and have students return it on Monday, and Monday is when I'd start the project. So the first option is that the parents can check off that my child may create a podcast with iPadio using their own email account and telephone. This is the most free option, most liberal option. The second is that my child may create a podcast with iPadio at school using my email, Mrs. Core's email account and telephone. So they'd have to come in on their own time, not during class. It'd have to be before school, after school, or during recess to create this. And they'd have to make those arrangements with me before they did it. And the third option is that my child may not create a podcast with iPadio and will complete the alternative writing assessment. So students can create, so the second option is that students can create their podcasts, but with my support, my email account, and my phone, or they can't do it at all. So if they don't do it at all, there's an alternative writing assessment, which would be that students would create a poem to support their cause. The mother of the daughter in the story wrote poetry in order to support the Black Panthers cause, so the students would do the same thing. They would work in their groups to get their ideas, even though they wouldn't be creating the message and going home and recording their phone cast, but they would take their ideas from their group and use it to go home and write their poetry. And then they would share this poem on their Blogster account. So that's what I did to overcome the obstacles that I foresaw. So I guess really the main purpose of this lesson is for students to take what they've learned from the book and apply it to their own lives. Because even at a young age, students are passionate about things and causes, especially with everything going on in the world today. So it's just really about making them aware. One thing that I didn't do that I wish I would have is Jocelyn suggested that I bring in, pamphlets or examples of, maybe a pamphlet from the Humane Society or something like that for students to see and get an idea of how organizations support a cause and advocate for it. I didn't even think about that, and that's what I would do in the future. But this is what I, came up with, and if I were teaching, I would love to use this lesson because I think there's a lot of benefits to having students think outside of the box and have to apply what they learned and be creative that way. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my lesson and my vlog.